It's showtime, folks. 1025, 1063, the game. We are live today at the BetMGM Sports Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. Sorry to be a little late. We'll just
autographs, man.
Autographs, yeah.
People out of here away from us.
But we're up and running.
We're up
How
and
are
running.
you?
Good, man. Live at the BetMGM Lounge at Bridgestone Arena today. A lot of fun.
Yeah, we're gonna be here for our Braves watch party. It starts. They'll really be here around 11, so we're just kind of here to let folks in. But
Yep,
they'll
park
open
cars
at 11. Park cars. It'll be a good time. Dr. Crane's back at the studio. Hello, Dr. Crane.
Hello.
How you doing? Good. I'm glad.
Good morning, Dr. Crane.
It's one of those mornings. Deep breath, right?
Yeah,
Deep
you're all
breath.
good, man.
Yeah,
all good time.
We're
I mean, that crowd out there trying to get through the crowd is like crazy.
Security did a great job keeping them away from us.
Yeah,
so
but now we're in the BetMGM Lounge. We're good to go.
We are. We've got a great show planned. Usually, John McClain joins us at 9:30 on Wednesdays. He will actually join us tomorrow. We'll have Paul Feinbaum at 10:30 today. Looking forward to that. But before that, the great Jim Wyatt, TennesseeTitans.com, will join the program.
Yeah, I look forward to talking to him today. We're 8 days out, baby.
So let's just get right into it because we're going to spend a lot of time on our question of the day. I think it's going to be a fun question of the day and get a lot of participation. So, Joe, take it away.
So with the draft being 8 days away, we talk a lot about Cam Ward, who the Titans going to pick. So a lot of times we spend going back like, remember this pick or that pick, and, that was a great pick and all that. But we decided today to do something, have a little fun with our audience out there to get your reaction. This is always good. So today we want to know.
Well, hang on. Pause. Okay. Sorry. This is my bad.
Sorry.
I'm a little flustered.
It's okay.
Let's talk some Preds for a second.
Sure.
Because Brady Shea is on the line with us.
Oh, okay.
They have their final game of the season coming up tonight. Brady, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're fantastic. We're already down here at the rink, so ready for you guys. Do you get kind of the same? I know this is your first year with the Nashville Predators, but, the season's ending probably a lot sooner than you wanted it to. Do you get like the same kind of last day of school feelings every year, or is it different because of how the season goes?
Yeah, it's different for sure. I think this year we obviously haven't done what we wanted to, and haven't you never want to be done playing before the playoffs. So the last few years for me, it's been losing in the playoffs, which is never a fun way to end it. And this is obviously feels a little different. It's coming in as your last game and being done a little early. So it's not the feeling we want to have, but something we can learn from this year and build on it and get ready for next year.
What have you seen out of some of the young guys that have joined? We saw Ufko make his NHL debut the other night on the defensive side of things. So how fun's it been to see kind of these youngsters get their shot at the NHL?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I think, and on top of that, I think they've all done a really good job. I mean, it's not easy coming into the league, especially as a young guy. And I think all the guys have taken the opportunity and have played really well. So, especially, on the defense side, I think we've had a lot of guys come in and not an easy position to play, and guys have done a great job and have jumped in and have played really well. So it's good to see that we have guys that can play here for the future. It's definitely great.
We're talking to Brady Shea this morning on the Chase and Big Joe show. Brady, how long does it take you to start reflecting back on the season, or is it something that you do the last 8, 5, 2 games of the season? And when you reflect back, what's the most frustrating part personally for you when this season comes to an end?
I think you start reflecting right away. I think it's hard not to think about it. Most frustrating. I mean, it was just overall, pretty frustrating year. I think the way we started was very frustrating. We had a big summer and got a lot of guys, and just it didn't click right away. So I think the start was obviously pretty frustrating, and then you're always trying to kind of battle back and a little behind the 8 ball. So that was definitely difficult, and I think we've been playing. I mean, we have been playing better lately as of recent. Like I said, we can take this year and then learn from it, and come in next year, we got to be ready to start off on the right foot, and hopefully things click right away. And then you don't need to be chasing the season like we kind of were the whole year this year.
Yeah, when you reflect back, the frustration part, but I'm sure there's points in this where like you get mad because you guys do have a great hockey team. It's unfortunate how it all played out, but can you be mad at what happened this past season as well as frustrated?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they're obviously, I mean, frustrated. Yeah. I mean, you're frustrated during the season. I think after the year is done, you can't do anything about it. You gotta try to learn and get better. Obviously it's frustrating. You want to, especially for a guy like me that signs here and wants to help the team win, and it didn't happen right away. So that's frustrating for sure. But I think we have the pieces here to be a really good hockey team. There's no question about that. So obviously frustrating during the year, and I mean, but I'm also proud of the team for not giving up. We've done a great job of showing up every day and giving it our best, and no one's packed it in. Everyone's been playing hard, and even though we've been out for a little bit. So it's there's definitely things you can take from the season and be happy about, but definitely things that we can learn from and get better for next year.
Brady Shea is with us. So what do you want? What do you want out of Smashville? What do you want out of your crowd tonight? It's the last game. I will say that I think the fans have been very supportive. The crowds have been good. Even when you guys weren't going to make the playoffs. So what do you want out of them tonight for one more time?
They've been incredible. I mean, I've been. I mean, I obviously have played here as a visitor, and then been here this year as a home player, and they've been. I mean, the fact that they show up and are loud every night, and knowing where our team sits in the standings, they just keep doing what they've been doing. It's been unbelievable support that we've had this year. I know it's not the year we wanted to have, and not the year the fans wanted to have, but the support that they've shown this year is, I mean, from the start of the year all the way till now has been really incredible, and it's great to see as a player and a guy that's going to be here for a little bit. So it's they've been doing a great job. So just keep doing what they're doing. It's been we players really appreciate it.
Well, Brady, I will say you've been a part of the rotation to come on with us all year. We really appreciate that. I know that I know when we do this next year, we're gonna be talking about a lot of wins. But appreciate
Exactly.
you, appreciate your teammates. Good luck tonight and enjoy the off season.
Thank you guys. No problem. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Brady Shea, Preds defenseman, joining us here on the program. We are up and running at the BetMGM Lounge here at Bridgestone Arena. We're going to get our question of the day out there. We're going to have some fun. But again, come support these guys tonight, because even though it didn't go the way everybody wanted it to and hoped it would, they have obviously put a lot of effort towards it and need your support tonight. So we will do that. Coming up next, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. On this Wednesday, we're live at BetMGM Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. The Atlanta Braves are going to be here a little bit later. They have a watch party they'll be telling you about. Their game gets underway at noon against the Toronto Blue Jays. So they'll be here giving away Braves tickets to a game of your choice every 30 minutes, plus hats, T-shirts, autographed baseballs, and the first 15 people that come through the door are going to get a pair of Preds tickets to tonight's game. So really, really cool. Come down and see us if you're on your lunch break at the BetMGM Lounge. They got a great menu, a lot of TV, so you can watch the Bravos and then come back tonight for the Preds game.
A lot of fun happening, man.
Yes, indeed.
All
All
right.
right.
Fun. Yes,
Thank you to
indeed.
Brady Shea for joining us, and thank you for bearing with us as we try and get through some technical issues. Why don't you throw out our question of the day?
So the draft is 8 days away, and we need y'all's response on this. So we don't like to use the Mount Rushmore of things, but it's the Mount Splashmore. Guys who did not make a splash for the Titans. We want to know the top.
I want to go to Mount Splash.
We're gonna give you one already.
Take me now.
Isaiah Wilson's already on the Mount Splashmore of terrible draft choices. So he's number one. So that's like Wheel of Fortune. They gave you the RSTNLE. You get
Yes.
that.
So you need 3 more.
So you need 3 more. We want to hear from you who are the 3 worst Titans draft choices of all time, but they have to be in the first, second, or third rounds. Those are the ones that are going to be depended on to come in for the most part and play right away. So the 3 worst Titans draft choices since 1999, not Tennessee Oilers. We're doing the Titans in 99. We need 3 to add up there with Isaiah Wilson. 615-737-1025, and it can go anywhere. Here's my 3. So in 2003, they took a DB out of Oklahoma, Andre Woolfolk. He was awful. Absolutely great in college, awful for the Titans. I mean, he was awful. He's my number 2 you put up there. Number 3 was a linebacker taken in 2018 out of Alabama. And I think Vrabel and Robinson got drunk off the fact that he played linebacker at Alabama. But Rashaan Evans was terrible. Absolutely terrible. He did not belong in the National Football League. That was an awful
But
pick.
you're going to have him on your Mount Splashmore of
bad draft choices?
or Mount Trashmore, as Nick Frazier.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, Rashaan Evans up there. This is mine, man.
Okay,
Back off.
All right.
And number 4 was a running back out of Arizona they took in the second round of 2007 named Chris Henry. Built like Mr. Olympia. I mean, that guy was built.
Rick, you know what?
Yeah, I mean, he was built. Oh, my Lord. He was awful. I'm going to rename, I won't name the lineman who said this, but it's like, he told me at the time, he said, how in the hell did we ever draft this guy? He goes, he wouldn't have made the team as a free agent. I mean, we could have got him as a free agent to come in there. It wouldn't have done anything. So my 4, you got Isaiah Wilson already's on the board, Andre Woolfolk, Rashaan Evans, and Chris Henry are my personal 4 worst draft choices the Titans have had since 1999. What says you, Chaser?
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good list. All right. Figuring this out, I mean, I think there are a lot of different. Chris Henry, I mean, I want to be different from you, but Chris Henry, I kind of feel like has to be on mine.
It's fine. It's terrible.
So I'm going to go Chris Henry. Here's one that you probably forgot. Ryan Mouton. 3rd round pick in 2009, DB out of Hawaii.
Yeah. What year was that?
2009. Remember he fumbled was it the kickoff, or he did it like twice? Kickoff or punt, something like that.
Oh, he loved to run his mouth on Twitter, though.
He did. He was pretty bad. So that was 2009. Kevin Dodd is definitely an easy one for me. He was a 2nd round pick, just did absolutely nothing. And then Caleb Farley. You drafted a guy with a guy with a bad back.
I forgot about him.
So
terrible.
I'm going to say joining Isaiah Wilson will be Chris Henry, Ryan Mouton, Kevin Dodd, and Caleb Farley. Wait, no.
So
that's
you
five.
got
That's
look at
five.
you.
That's 5.
Oh, you're gonna get 3, pal. You got to whittle it down to 3.
Okay, to be
Gosh.
different, I'll take Henry off and I'll do my 3.
God, that's bad. Farley was terrible.
Yeah.
Injured. Mouton, loved to run his mouth. He loved to run his mouth
He
on
was
Twitter.
terrible.
Was not good. And then Kevin Dodd. Kevin Dodd's interesting to me because I don't think he had a lot of buildup going into the draft. And
I
they
liked
took
the
him,
pick.
and then he
was good at Clemson.
He was really good at Clemson.
I liked the pick.
But because they had taken Conklin first, you get kind of like, oh, they got Conklin, and then everybody after that. But to me, he just was like a nothing Dodd.
You know,
So
what's funny is they had 3 second rounders that year because of all the trades that J. Robin made.
right.
And we know who ended up being the best pick out of that draft. But at the time, Dodd was probably the best second round pick. Like once they made it, it's like, okay, here's a sure thing. You know, because a lot of people were hating on Henry. You know, like, why would you take Henry? You just, you know, all that stuff. And that turned out to work out. But,
Well, it did, because remember, we talked about this. He was a second running back taken in the draft that year after your boy for the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott. So it's like, remember, don't take a running back. Don't take a running back. And they did. But I mean, I cannot believe I forgot about Farley. I cannot believe. But with me going back to Chris Henry, I mean, a second rounder. I'll never forget, Chase, when they took Chris Henry. I was working at Channel 2 at the time, and he was not on our list. We had no list of Chris Henry. There was nowhere to find him. And so we ended up having to call Tucson and say, hey, can you mind, at the time it's called Fiber, and can you fiber us some video of Chris Henry? And they're like, yeah. I'll never forget the guy saying, yeah, we can't believe you guys took him either. I'm like, you guys? I didn't take him. I would have never taken him. So the rumor was at the time that when they drafted him, it was because that was Floyd had just left, right? So that was been Reinfeld's first year as the GM. And the rumor was like, well, we drafted him. Now you got to coach him to Fisher. And they're like, this guy's not good at all. And so, yeah, but Chris Henry, because I was at practice every day, saw Chris Henry. The lineman couldn't stand him. I actually felt sorry for him. And that's why Chris Henry, to me, made the list.
That's a good one. 615-737-1025. Your Mount Splashmore, Trashmore. We don't want to use the term Mount Rushmore because I think it's an overused term in sports radio. Worst draft picks by the Tennessee Titans. Isaiah Wilson is automatically up there. He is the worst. And there are so many different places that you can go. But we'll take your calls, your texts, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We're live today at the BetMGM Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. Your calls and texts on this next. 1025, 1063 The Game.
on that solid gold.
Dr. Crane knows that this kind of music is soothing to me, and I need to be soothed right now. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Wednesday. We're live at the BetMGM Lounge at Bridgestone Arena, Predators' final home game. But our question of the day is a good one. We're calling it Mount Splashmore because they didn't make a splash.
Yep.
For the Tennessee Titans. Worst draft picks in Titans history. You get 3 of them because Isaiah Wilson is number 1.
He's already got his face up
undisputed.
there.
He's in the Hall of Fame. He played 4 snaps for the team. Undisputed. Mine were Ryan Mouton, who was a DB in 2009, Kevin Dodd, and then Caleb Farley.
Caleb Farley's one that I forgot about. And here's the deal. Also,
We've left and look, some of you are like, how could you leave a specific guy off? We've kind of done that on purpose because y'all are going to say it.
Yeah.
And we know you're going to say it.
and a little caveat to it. They got to be a first, second, or third rounder. Rocky Top Bucks on X says, and it just refreshed. You guys are sitting so many in right now. Thank you for this. Bishop Sankey and Rocky Kalmus. Honorable mention goes to Jake Locker. The Sankey one is another one that
Sankey's
was like,
a good one.
and I remember when they drafted him, and I was like, where's this guy from? And I'll never forget, again, Wisenut said they went to the Senior Bowl, and they liked the way he picked up the blitz. I'm like, well, can he catch? Can he catch a little bit? Can he score? Well, I mean, he's good. I mean, all the stammering, stuttering that goes on. But, yeah, thank you. Bishop Sankey, man.
This is how bad Chris Henry was.
Oh,
Listen to this text. Tommy, did Big Joe mean Chris Brown, the running back? I also think their biggest miss is every quarterback since McNair, with the exception of VY's Rookie of the Year. No, Chris Henry exists.
Yes.
Chris
2007.
Chris Brown and Chris Henry are 2 different people.
Chris Brown ran for 1,000 yards in 2003. Had a lot of upside. He came out of Colorado and number 29. I like Chris Brown. I thought he was a good run back in college. He backed up Eddie for a little bit, rushed for 1,000 in 03, and just got injured down the part of that and didn't really pan out. It's bad that he got injured. But, yeah, Chris Brown and Chris Henry, 2 completely different running backs. And Chris Brown should have been, Mr. America or been in the bodybuilding or some kind. I mean, he was jacked. I tell you, he was jacked, but my goodness, was he terrible.
B-Man says Tyrone Calico was a bum. I'm gonna dispute that one a little bit because I actually think he showed some promise and then he got hurt. He's the reason the horse collar tackle is a legal move in the NFL. So I'm gonna give him a little bit of a pass. I know, talking to Floyd about him, Floyd was really, and Jeff Fisher, they were both really excited about him, and it just was unfortunate that he got hurt in the way that he did, because he was never the same. But he was good out of MTSU. Was he a 3rd round pick?
He was.
Yeah.
Neil on X says, not to mention, but a quarterback out of the University of Texas. He proved why the NFL is not for long league. Vince Young is an interesting.
He's not a bust
case.
He's not a bust.
He's not a bust at all. He doesn't make the list at all, because there were some flashes where he was just amazing. I just don't think he was, what's the word? I don't think he was ready for the game. And I don't think he worked hard enough. And there's a few things that go along with that.
Yeah. And I think, so here's the deal, guys. Being a disappointment is different than being a bust. They're 2 different things. There are a lot of disappointments in the National Football League, but they're not busts. Now, Jake Locker, I could probably argue that he was a bust.
Yeah.
But Vince won Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Vince took you to you went to the playoffs with Vince. Lost to San Diego, right?
In 07, yeah.
Yeah, it was the 2nd year.
Yep.
So that's not a bust, in my opinion. Locker, there can be an argument for, but I think a lot of people will kind of put Vince in that category. But
is Vince in the disappointment category?
Yeah.
Because there was so much.
Yeah, he was disappointing.
And I think that's, had he panned out, there would not have been a Locker that would have been taken there. But I'm getting peppered now with Burks,
Well, yeah, and I was going to get to him. So there's two that we didn't mention that I certainly think could be on this list.
Okay.
Treylon Burks is one of those. And then Chance Warmack, who was a 1st round pick out of Alabama.
Chances on my.
Let's see. I haven't seen.
Yep, Chance Warmack came in 2013, the 10th pick, and a great locker room guy. I mean, funny and everything else, but I'm telling you, man, most of these Alabama guys just flame out at the next level because they were surrounded by so much good talent at Alabama that he came up here and he just couldn't handle himself. You know, I don't know. Warmack won a Super Bowl ring with the Eagles in 16, or is it 17? 17, sorry. But he was not anything decent here with the Titans at all. Not at all.
Let's see. Kevin Dodd gets another vote. 9680 got the reference. Will you take us to Mount Splashmore? Will you take us to Mount Splashmore? Will you take us to Mount Splashmore? How many of these bad picks are from the J-Rob years? Look, I mean, Burks, Wilson, Dodd. But I mean, you can do that with
Evans.
every GM. Evans. You can do that with every
There's some
GM.
that's a good point. There's some good ones here with that. Remember, first, second, and third rounders, what you got to, we're looking into that. You know, he had Austin Johnson went third in 2016. That 2016 draft was something else because you had Conklin, Austin Johnson, Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard. And if Dodd would have panned out, I mean, he would have been, that'd have been a really, really good draft for them.
I am surprised that this name has not come up yet. Hit it, Dr. Crane. What about Justin Hunter out of the University of Tennessee?
The 2000.
It was the Warmack draft. They traded up in the second round to get him. And he was the one that, what's Van Jefferson's dad's name? Sean Jefferson put the Jag on his jersey, just the guy.
I forgot about
Justin Hunter was they traded up to get him.
He did his career, I guess. Is this a career or 1 year? It says he had 85 receptions. Was that in the 2013 year?
Probably.
I guess. And then he flamed out after that.
But he was another one that didn't want to work.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Dr. Crane, you have your list.
Yes, I do. I was going to ask before I say this. Didn't Justin Hunter have a overtime winning catch against the Chargers back in the day? Do you guys recall what I'm talking about? Or if it was a late fourth quarter?
I do remember he had one. He had something. He had one moment of glory. That may be it. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like a home game on a Sunday, and they were playing the Chargers, and he had a nice little toe tap grab in the front corner of the end zone. I think that was his only claim to fame with the Titans. But as for my list, I have Dorial Green Beckham, Darrington Evans, and Des Fitzpatrick, and then obviously Chance Warmack, the honorable mention because he's a first-round pick. But
so Des Fitzpatrick was a fourth-round pick. So you it's got to be first 3 rounds.
Dr. Crane.
But no, DG. Oh, DG.
Oh, this is great. Dorial Green Beckham. His entire career, he ended up with 68 catches, less than 1,000. And the Justin Hunter was his career, 85 catches. And his career had 28 with the Titans in the second year. That's just terrible. I mean, that's, again, you break down all these guys and they're intangible, and then they get here and they're like, you're terrible. I mean, Dorial Green Beckham was a good college player. And he gets here, and he's awful. And I forgot about, this is the one I remember we used to sit around and laugh about. I laughed about this Kuharski years ago. In that 15 draft, Dr. Crane, Jeremiah Poutasi, who was 20 years old, ended up being like an arena ball like 2 or 3 years after this. So
he was a third-round pick, right?
Third-round pick, baby.
Here's another one that people probably forget about. So 2005.
Oh, no.
They took 2 receivers in the third round.
Oh, no.
Do you remember those?
I'm looking at them now.
Courtney Roby had 1 career touchdown.
But Courtney Roby ended up going to the Saints. And I think he ran a punt back in the
he was a good return
championship
game.
He was
a good return guy.
So he just didn't hit what he wanted to be here. Didn't kind of achieve anything.
And then Brandon Jones, I would say, was terrible because he was 113 catches for 1,398 yards, 9 touchdowns over the course of 4 years.
Yeah, but also look in that draft in the fourth round who they took at 113. Big country, baby. David Stewart. Worst interview of all time, but that he
Big country?
That was fine.
Yeah, well, you didn't draft him to do that.
That's right. You didn't draft him to talk. You just draft him to protect the right side. Him and Roos were great, the left and right side, man. There was no question about those guys for years going on with that. But what do
you know what draft?
Where do you rank Pac-Man on this?
I was literally just about to ask you that. He's not. I mean, he played in the league for how long was he in the league? He was in the league for over 10 years, like 13 years.
But
He was
not
in the
here.
league for, yeah. I mean, again, disappointing.
Disappointing. He's not
Yeah.
really a bust. Yeah, disappointing. What we
Definitely
could
not a
have here.
bust, but disappointing. I mean, you look at his stats. He had 17 interceptions in his career. He had 3 sacks. You know what draft is interesting? 2004. Didn't have a first round pick, but had 3 second rounders, 2 third rounders. Ben Troop, solid player.
Yeah.
Travis LeBoy, solid player. Antoine Odom, solid. Randy Starks, and then Rich Gardner is the only one I don't remember.
Rich Gardner. This is great. So LeBoy made the Super Bowl with the Cardinals in 2008.
Yeah, Odom was with the Bengals.
Bengals and played pretty well. I mean, he ended up being 7 years in the league. Ben Troop had so much promise, but he just
Didn't he
wasn't
get hurt?
I don't remember.
I don't know. He's down in like Savannah doing radio and stuff.
I remember his first game in one of these like 07 or 08. He caught his first pass in the 12th game of the year. And Greg Pogue stands up in the press box and says, "Hey, everybody, Ben Troop now has one more pass catch than I do." In the 2000, and everybody in the press box laughed. I mean, everybody laughed on that. So, yeah, it's funny because we get all in, with the 22, 23, 24 draft, but you go back to this 01, 02, 03, especially the 03 with Andre Woolfolk, people forgot about him, but I mean, he was terrible.
Kenny the mailman wants to weigh in on the draft issues of the two-tone blue. Kenny, what's up?
Hello, good friends.
Hello, sir.
Are we calling this the Mount Rushmore of draft picks for the Titans?
Splashmore, guys that never made a splash.
Well, may I suggest that instead of that, let's call it the Sgt. Pepper's album cover selection. That's a lot of younger people don't know. That's the album with like 200 faces on the front of it.
Oh, yeah.
There's been 200 bad picks. Please don't gloss over the gift that keeps on giving, Isaiah Wilson. I know y'all automatically put him on there, but just the stories about the driving and different things, and that's just the ones we know about.
Bad.
I heard of 2 or 3 other interactions at restaurants and different things that it's just like an 11-year-old kid turning loose with money.
Well, I
So
heard he sold one copy of his rap album, and I heard you bought it.
I got it. It's autographed. He misspelled his name. But yeah, that's the gift that gives on giving, and this is the Sgt. Pepper's draft. Pull that album cover up, everybody. It has 300 faces on it. See y'all.
Oh my God,
that's a good one. Thanks, Kenny. That's a great phone call. Warmack. Let's see. Josh says Warmack, Locker, and Green Beckham are on his list. So we'll get more of these. And then I have this question: if you're going to do this for the good draft picks, there's 2 that, in my mind, should be on there, but they were not drafted as the Titans. So do they count?
I'm so confused.
Don't answer that. We'll answer it next.
Okay.
Chasing Big Joe again. We're live today at the BetMGM Sports Lounge here at Bridgestone Arena. Dr. Crane is at the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
I want to talk about me.
Hey, you want to win an exclusive? This is Toby Keith, but Keith Urban experience. Text in the keyword Keith, Keith, to 615-737-1025 and receive a link to sign up for a chance to win an all-inclusive tickets to the Eurostone Club at Bridgestone Arena to see Keith Urban, plus a chance to win $1,000 cash.
Not bad.
We're live at BetMGM Lounge here in Bridgestone Arena. Our show, the Chase and Big Joe Show, the People Show, is presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, where we will be tomorrow. I'm always happy when we're there.
Absolutely, we are.
And that will be good.
You know, we can hear our draft thing here real quick. If you go back to when the Titans showed up in '97, the franchise, Joey Kent was awful. Good man, love Joey Kent at Tennessee.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy part about this. Kent was picked second, 46 overall, 13 catches in his career, which lasted 3 seasons. If you scroll down, there's one, Derek Mason, 943 catches, 12,000 receiving yards. And it's just, you go down these stats, you look at Derek Mason sitting there, and it's like, holy hell. The 5th pick that season, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 97. And the guy had a Hall of Fame career. You never know, man. You never know. You would look at that and think Joey Kent should have those numbers. Joey Kent was not even 1% of the receiver that Derek Mason was.
Well, and look, it just shows you. I mean, here's another interesting question. There's tentacles to this question.
Yes.
In the Titans era, is D-Mace the best producing draft pick beyond the 3rd round? So basically 4th.
How about
and
after the
below.
1st round? You
Well,
could take it
yeah,
after
I
the
mean,
first.
Right. But I mean, okay, you could probably say that, actually. I mean, he produced better than a lot of the first rounders they had. But
Nobody comes close.
I mean, Cortland Finnegan's on that list. He was a 7th round pick.
Oh, I just thought you meant receiver wise.
No. I'm talking about just any draft pick of the Titans, because do you count? Here goes to my other question. If you're doing a Mount Rushmore of great draft picks, Steve and Eddie have to be on there, right? Even though they were drafted by the Houston Oilers.
Yeah, that's an easy topic to do.
Yeah.
The good ones. When you go,
Well, but
Here's
that's
one
my
for you.
question. Is that where you do combine the history? Because
no, I think you just go 99. Well, that's a good point.
like they're on there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they have to be. Well,
because
I
they
mean,
played for the Titans.
yes.
A majority of their career was,
Correct.
was
Okay.
with the Titans.
I get to that. Here's your answer to Derek Mason. Jared Cook
Cookie.
had a good career. And
Derek's was better than him, though.
no. Oh, yeah. Derek's
Yeah.
the top. Nobody comes close. But I'm
Yeah.
saying in that arena over there, sit in there, Jared Cook's up there. He's had a hell of a career.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been at the Saints, the Packers.
I would have, okay, I'll put Cookie on there. I think Cortland Finnegan. Do you put Blaine in this conversation? He was an 8th round pick. I know it was in Houston, but he spent a good chunk of his career here.
Yeah, not really. 90 as a Titan,
4 years.
99 to 01. So
Oh, okay.
3 years.
All right, so then I won't count him.
It's tough to put it in that kind of.
But I mean, you think about it.
Wait, hold on. Tajay Sharp caught 117 passes in his career.
Yeah.
I don't remember one that he caught. I remember him and Kuharski loved each other. Paul bought that mixtape too of Tajay Sharp's, which was really good. So yeah, I mean and then you got to look at, of course, AJ Brown after the 1st round. I mean, there's different things going on, but we're talking the worst. I keep seeing Locker. A lot of y'all think Jake Locker was one of the worst draft choices of all time. When you get one or
because of the
two of
position.
those, I'm like, oh, okay, but a lot of you guys are weighing in saying Jake Locker is one of the worst Titans draft choices, and I kind of see it in a little bit because
Yeah.
after 14, he just said, I'm out. But I think he was out because we've talked about this. He just hated Wisenhunt.
Well, here's some things that you got to think about, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, but I think most Titans fans don't think about it this way. I think we do because we're so close to the fire. I don't know if he's drafted where he's drafted if there's not a lockout.
It's a good point.
But they had signed Hasselbeck. All this stuff is going on with the lockout. They draft Locker. What was he, like 12th? Was he the 12th pick?
8th.
8th. So he was top 10. Like, he's not a top. I didn't think he was a top 10 pick.
Some thought he was a top 5 pick the year before.
Right. So I think that's an interesting kind of situation. 9889 says top Titans fan from Twitter. Top 3 is easily Andre Woolfolk, Caleb Farley, Traylon Burks. Honorable mention Jake Locker.
See, another one.
Andrew from Dover. Here's one we haven't brought up yet. What about Kendall Wright? What do y'all consider him?
That's a good one. Kendall Wright was number 1. Kendall Wright came in because they were drunk off Robert Griffin's year at Baylor in 2011.
Yeah.
And Wright was the recipient of all those passes. But 340 catches, 19 touchdowns. He stayed in the league only. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I mean, for where you're
I'd
going.
consider him. Josh from Columbia says Adoree Jackson, Kendall Wright, honorable mentions. LOL, I understand Jackson is still playing and just got paid, but he was so hyped and fizzled out of here.
It's a good point.
Okay, and here's the other thing. So nobody said Corey Davis, and you shouldn't say Corey Davis. I think Adoree Jackson is a good player. I don't think he's a first-round pick, and that's what happens sometimes is, like, Corey Davis was a good player. He wasn't the 5th overall pick good, and sometimes that happens. So,
Right. You're right.
you can't say bust just because they didn't live up to the position that they were taken in.
I mean, this 2015 draft, Mariota, obviously, you needed a quarterback. He had a great year at Oregon. It was not good here. But then you got Dorial Green Beckham. But this last part of the draft, Jalston Fowler, the running back from Alabama, David Cobb from Minnesota. I mean, Cobb lasted a year in the league, Fowler 3 years. And look at this, Angelo Blackson ended up lasting 10 years in the league. So, I mean, again, when you get 5th, 6th, 7th round, take a flyer, man. This is another topic for another day, but a lot of the Titans draft choice in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round, some of them played well, but the majority of them just don't make it for the league at long.
Yeah. Let me run through these real quick. Steven from Hendersonville, Kenny Britt, Akeem Ayers, Caleb Farley. That's a good list. Kenny Britt's disappointing. I don't know, but there you go. Weston Hermitage, Henry was in the 2nd round, guys. We know. Chris Henry or Derrick Henry? Chris Henry was 2nd round, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we said that. This is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round. It doesn't have to be first round. This is Joey from Gallatin. Mark Mariani is a good pick at 222. He was 7th round. That's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, Wright had a 1,000-yard season, as 9926 points out.
I mean, he did. He should have, but the promise of what he gave, everything fizzled out quickly. I mean, you don't have to look far to realize why the Titans aren't a very good franchise during these times.
8566 says, leave Jake alone. He was fine. The quarterbacks taken after him were Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder, and Colin Kaepernick. Who else would they have taken? Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. Look, I'm not the one saying that. I can see.
Yeah, I mean, I see the argument. He was disappointing.
Yeah.
That's what he was. We will ask Jim Wyatt this question because he's seen every draft pick come through this here town. We'll see what he has to say and get his thoughts on the draft and everything, and maybe see if he was playing Fortnite last night with Cam Ward. We will talk to Jimmy next. Jason Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Wednesday. Live at the BetMGM Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. Predators' final game of the season tonight against the Dallas Stars. Pre-game at 6. Puck drop just after 7 here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. But we are almost, thank God, a week away from the NFL Draft. The Titans hold the number 1 overall pick. And the number 1 overall pick in Nashville sports media, Jim Wyatt, is on the line with us now. Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. I'm going to ask you a question that, as a Titans employee, you may not want to answer, and that is totally okay. But we've kind of had some fun this morning with our listeners of the we don't want to call it a Mount Rushmore because that's good, but so we called it the Mount Splashmore because they didn't make a splash of the basically worst draft picks in the first 3 rounds since the team has been here. You've covered the team since day 1. We automatically put Isaiah Wilson on there. But again, if you don't want to answer it, we certainly understand. But we know that you probably have had some insight over the years.
Yeah, I think Isaiah Wilson is definitely the safe pick at 1. Man, let me think. Number 2, I'm going to go Chris Henry just because he was
Joe's happy about that.
Yeah, he was second round and really just kind of drafted because of how he did in testing before, not necessarily on what he did in college. So he's number 2. Oh man, number 3. I get 3.
Yeah.
3
to go with
is,
to go with Wilson, yeah. So it'll be 4 total.
That's a good question. I may have to let me finish. I'll do the rest of this interview, and then I'm gonna look through the draft picks, and I'll come up with 2 more before we're done.
Okay,
you could do that. One that was kind of unanimous too, Jim, was Andre Woolfolk back in 2003.
I know. I think Woolfolk. He was such a nice guy. I hate to throw him on that list,
right.
but I think probably because of where he was picked, 28th in that round. I'm looking now. I'm kind of going through my book. I think that's probably a safe bet. And I have to say, I mean, again, I've patched things up with Pac-Man since he was since my time dealing with him here. But just because of everything, I mean, from a past player standpoint and what his career ended up being, because he played 13 years in the league. It's hard to call him a bust, but just because of what kind of a nightmare he put the team through during that stretch. I don't know. I almost think he probably deserves to be on that list as well.
Hey, sorry, Chase. I want to go back real quick with Pac-Man. We talk about this. I remember getting a call at 3 a.m. that I had to go to Murfreesboro because remember he got into a fight at City Limits or some club in Murfreesboro. Then it was something else, on and on. And I just remember he was like the guys like you that were covering the team and Paul were like, this is something we've never seen before. I'll never forget talking the conversation with you about all the stuff that Pac-Man, especially that summer of 05 and 06 and 07 was going through.
Yeah, I mean, it was a full-time job for me, and believe me, I was front and center on it. Paul can complain about it all he wants, but I remember having to be the one to chase all those. And certainly everybody that dealt with him, it was a nightmare for them. But I could go on and I could write a book on some of the stuff I dealt with regarding him and his family and some of the threats but people learn. And obviously he was young and surrounded himself with people who didn't have his best interest in mind probably at the time. And it was a nightmare for me, but I've made up with them. And again, it was pretty ugly during a stretch for a long stretch there while I was covering the team. But I've seen him at events since. I was on his podcast just about a month or 2 ago. We're friendly now and certainly weren't friendly back then, but I could tell you a lot of stories that not a lot of people know other than my wife, just about everything I had to deal with him.
Oh, I am sure. And look, he ended up having a long career. So you talk about a story that gets turned around in the good direction. I guess he was one of those. But Jim Wyatt is with us, TennesseeTitans.com. Jim, are you familiar with the video game Fortnite? Have you been playing any Fortnite lately?
I have not played it. I'm certainly familiar with it, and I've heard about Cam Ward and some of his antics on Fortnite last night would certainly have tipping people off about what he thinks is going to happen in this draft.
And I mean, look, we don't know. We won't know until the pick is in and Roger Goodell walks across that stage and makes the announcement. But all indications are that that's probably the direction that it's going to end up going. It feels, and when Chad Brinker and Mike Berganzi have spoken, that nothing's blown them away to move off of that pick. Is that kind of the sense that you get there in the building, that all systems go, that they'll pick at number one?
Well, at the beginning of this process, maybe January, February, somebody had told me they were picking Cam Ward. I probably wouldn't have believed it, but I think now, sitting here on April the 16th, all signs point to that. And I think a large part of that is just because they've gotten to know him so much better, whether it was, visiting him with the combine or going, having a 30 visit with him coming in the building, to them going to his pro days and then having a private workout. I think they've gotten to where they like the kid, and then doing further, more in-depth research about him as a player. I think they realize this guy could potentially be special. Are you going to get a bunch of different opinions on that and where he, I know people don't have him ranked. Some people don't have him ranked as a top 10 prospect, but some of these people that are doing these projections have missed on guys before. Let's face it. Tom Brady was a 6th round draft pick. I don't know. And again, I'm not saying that Cam Ward's going to be Tom Brady. I'm just saying this is kind of an imperfect deal here, the draft process. And, as long as the Titans and Mike Berganzi and Chad Brinker and Brian Callahan all feel good about him, and I think they do, that's where it looks like things are going. Now, again, we don't know what other teams are thinking here a week before the draft, whether somebody's going to make a last-minute push for a trade and give you an offer that you can't refuse. But as things stand right now, that's what I think. And right now I'm in the process of tallying up. I do this mock draft roundup where I take a poll of everybody, and I need to get y'all's picks too. And I think everybody I've asked is giving me back Cam Ward. So this may be unanimous this year.
Have you, Jim? We're talking.
You guys going Cam Ward?
I am going Cam Ward. I don't know if Joe is.
I think, Jim, and that's the thing I was going to ask you. I think somebody's going to make a last-second offer to this team that they can't turn down, that a team's going to want, not a quarterback, but say a Travis Hunter. And I just think that it's going to happen. Maybe I want that to happen, Jim, because this is all too easy. When it's too easy, I got a problem with it. That's just me.
So you want to put you down for Travis Hunter?
I think put me down for – I think they trade out of it, Jim. I think they trade out of it and end up getting a bunch of picks, and everything. Look, it's this Tyler Warren kid out of Penn State at tight end. I want to be different. I don't want it to be that simple. If Cam Ward and second round of pick and on and on, I think there's got to be a little chaos that comes with having this first pick. And I think that's trading out of will be chaos. And I like that.
Okay. I'm going to give you a trade and then Tyler Warren.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim.
Right.
This is real time happening. I like it. Now, Jim, are you headed to Green Bay next week?
I am. Yeah, I leave. I'll be up there for the first round. I always go the first round, and then here for the rest of the draft. And I've been to draft in Chicago and Philly and Vegas and Dallas and Detroit and certainly Nashville. I think those are all of them. Obviously, I'm curious to see what it's going to look like in Green Bay because the airport's not huge and there's not a lot of hotel rooms. Luckily, I was able to get a room and. But I'm curious to see what the crowd's going to look like there, just what that draft will do to that town, or I hate to even call it a city because it's not a big city if you guys have ever been. So, but I am curious to see how Green Bay pulls it off. I'll be there for the first round to see it unfold.
And see the Titans traded out of that first pick. Hey, real quick, back to our the Mount Splashmore of guys didn't make it. We're getting a lot of people, Jim, are weighing in saying that Jake Locker should be on this list. You covered Jake. Jake. I don't see it, but a lot of people are – am I missing something about Jake Locker's career when he was here in Nashville?
Well, I mean, it just didn't last very long, and obviously Matt Hasselbeck started that one of those years where they were trying to let him develop, and then he just never really could stay healthy long enough to be the quarterback. I mean, it depends on how you're coming to that conclusion. I mean, Jake Locker, I know Woolfolk is certainly qualifies because it didn't pan out, but he was the 28th pick at that time. There weren't a lot of great prospects left. At least guys that were considered having a first round grade. Jake Locker was 8th overall. And so if you want to factor that in, how high the pick was, I can understand that. That's kind of why in some ways I mentioned Pack. I don't know if that would be my final pick, but he was 6th overall. And when you got a top 10 pick, those misses hit even harder.
Jim Wyatt is with us. TennesseeTitans.com is where you can find his work. All eyes are on that number 1 overall pick, but I'm kind of curious of what happens on day 2, because right now the Titans sit with a second-round pick at 35, do not have a third-round pick. Do you get a sense that they might try and be aggressive, having 2 fourth-rounders the next day, that they might try and move into that third round, potentially move back at 35 in order to do that? What's your sense on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I get a lot of people asking me lately if they potentially, after picking somebody at 1, whether they potentially try to get back in the first round and get one of those receivers. And I'm a little bit more skeptical about that, because like all Mike Berganti's talked about, all Chad Brigham talked about, is trying to acquire as many picks as possible. I think I'd be hard for us to think they're going to move up into the first round to get somebody. You never say never. If this is Mike Berganti's first draft, you don't know how he's going to do things. But I think the more likely scenario, is they try to trade back at certain points in this draft and get more picks. And they can't be satisfied right now with having 1 and then having 35 and then calling it a day after the first 3 rounds. And I think you're going to try to get as many picks as possible. So we'll see. I mean, I think a lot depends too on just how things fall. And let's say you're sitting there at 35 and you've got a pool of players that you consider to be all very similar as far as grades, then maybe that's the time you move back and get some more, get an extra pick if somebody else is falling in love with somebody and wants to come up.
Well, it's certainly going to be awesome and fun to watch next week. Jim, enjoy Green Bay. Even, I think any trip to Green Bay and Lambeau Field has got to be a lot of fun. So appreciate you taking the time today, and we will talk soon.
Okay, appreciate you having me. I'll be good with
you too. Jim Wyatt, TennesseeTitans.com, joining us here on the show, and you can find his work at TennesseeTitans.com. Always appreciate that, and like I said, I'm just glad that we're a week away.
Yeah, right.
And we will have the answers. But we'll get back to our question of the day. And also, Cam Ward, we have the audio from Fortnite last night. Had some interesting answers to some questions.
Don't forget at 10:30.
10:30, we're going to talk to Paul Feinbaum. The transfer portal is open, and we'll get his thoughts on the latest with Nico Iamaleava and the transfer portal. We'll do that coming up later in the show. Again, we are live at the BetMGM Sports Lounge today at Bridgestone Arena. Not only is it the Predators' final home game, but the Atlanta Braves are going to be here for their Braves Country road trip with the Preds and us here at 102.5. The game, they'll take on the Toronto Blue Jays today starting at noon. Spencer Strider on the mound as he will make his season debut, finally back for the Bravos. So come by. Your chance to win tickets to a Braves game of your choice every 30 minutes. Plus, the first 15 people through the door will see our man Cliff McCardle and get tickets to that night's game. So we look forward to seeing you all here at the BetMGM Sports Lounge. They open up at 11. We're live here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
My top 4 running backs in the league right now, I would say Tony Pollard, Spears.
There's a little bit of Cam Ward last night on Fortnite, the video game. He was asked his top 4 running backs in the league, and Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears being his top 2. Who do they play for?
I think the Oilers.
Yes, that is technically correct. Paul Feinbaum going to join us in about 8 minutes here on the program. Looking forward to having Paul on with us. So, I mean, again, all signs kind of point in the direction of Cam Ward. Joe's the only one on the planet that thinks that it doesn't. And that's okay.
I just want, if it does happen, I can say, look at me. It's just easy to fall in line of like, all right, it's going to be Cam Ward, move on. It's just too simple. And sometimes when it's too simple, it's not that simple. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I just think it's just, I want to see the chaos. I want to see him trade out of it and just gobble up. I'd love after the first 100 picks, they've got 6 guys in the first 100. I mean, somehow make it happen. They could do that when they trade out of that first pick.
They could. And again, there's a lot of needs that need to be addressed. We sit here and we say quarterback because it looks like they're going to take a quarterback with the first overall pick. I mean, they definitely don't have a quarterback of the future on the roster right now, but do you still consider it a glaring need based on the quarterback play you saw last year? I do.
Yeah.
But I also would have addressed it with a veteran. But ultimately they want to build through the draft and see if Brian Callahan can save his job by developing Cam Ward in year 1.
We talk about this. I mean, Brian Callahan's got to be worried to death. He's got to have some kind of reassurance that, look, I've got a rookie quarterback that I've got to bring in the league and develop. Believe in me. Trust in me on this. Don't fire me in January when we have to go 5-12. He's just not the guy. I mean, you go back through history and look at guys. You look at Caleb Williams last year. I mean, Bryce Young had to bounce, but there's that promise that he had there. Was Bryce Young the same as Cam Ward? As far as right now, I mean, the number 1 pick and the problems and the potential that goes on, we'll have to see. But I don't know. I mean, you got so many issues to address. If you show up in camp and you've got Cam Ward and Jaden Wiggins and a few other draft choices there, did you better yourself overall? You got so many needs, and some of those needs can be taken care of with trading out of that first round pick.
615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And our show is presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel. So Paul Feinbaum going to join us here in a few minutes. The saga with Nico Iamaleava ultimately leaving the Tennessee Volunteers. He is officially, as of today, entered the transfer portal with a do not contact tag.
What does that mean?
Basically, that tells people that he knows where he's going to go.
Oh, okay.
It looks like Tulane and North Carolina have kind of pulled out of the sweepstakes. They showed a little interest, but other than that, I don't, and I'm curious of Paul's thoughts, but I think Nico and his dad are realizing that the market just isn't there like they thought it was going to be. I think this is going to end up being a costly mistake for him.
Well, it is, and I think a lot of people are cheering for that, not against the young man, but against his dad and the demands they got out there. And now they've got the other side of the family, friends like TJ Houshmandzadeh was talking about. Now you got people coming out, they never asked for a raise, and the Vols are doing this. Well, if you never asked for a raise, then all's good, right? Tennessee didn't go to him and say take a pay cut.
Yeah.
If I'm reading this correctly,
no. So he just wanted more money.
Yeah. So this is all on Diddy and his buddies and the family doing this. I feel sorry for this young man. I mean, he's going to land somewhere and go make. I bet he lands somewhere and makes $1 million. I mean, listen to this talk.
He's going to probably take a cut.
Yeah,
and then do this all over again next year.
But he goes to the team Friday while that was going on, and then, of course, the rumors of the demands before the playoff game. He wanted this and wanted that, but again, this is the era you guys created. You guys are dealing with, and now this is the norm. It's not the exception anymore. It's the norm for everybody going forward.
We will get Paul Feinbaum's thoughts on this and much more in college football coming up next. Tune in to 94.9 The Fan tonight. The Nashville Sounds continue their series against Charlotte. Pregame at 5:20, the first pitch at 5:35. Coverage is also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Sounds Baseball is presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. Paul Feinbaum next on the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Wednesday. We are live at the BetMGM Sports Lounge at Bridgestone Arena. Predators and Stars later tonight, and also the Atlanta Braves watch party as they take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Dr. Crane is back at the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Obviously, one of the big stories of the week has been Nico Iamaleava deciding to leave the University of Tennessee. It all started over the weekend, Friday, and by Saturday, he was off the team. We bring in Paul Feinbaum now, of course, of ESPN and the SEC Network. Paul, how the heck are you? Good to talk to you.
It's great to hear from you, and yeah, what an amazing story this has been.
I've seen some of your comments on this, and I agree with you, but did the University of Tennessee and Josh Heupel do college football a favor by not giving in to the demands of probably Nico's father, not necessarily the kid himself, but they ultimately just were like, hey, you signed the contract, you have your money. If that's not good enough for you, then we're going to move on. There's the door. It feels like this was something that they needed to do for the good of not only the University of Tennessee, but college football as a whole.
That is correct. Had Tennessee backed down and given him whatever he was asking for, this would be a story 10 times more important than it is right now. It's still very important. We're all talking about it. We're all trying to figure it out. But had they given in, I think every top player in America would be in the coach's office today saying, hey, listen, where's my money? And right now, I think the fact that it has gone so poorly for Nico and his family, at least as of this moment, it has. I think a lot of people are being very careful. Tennessee has received a lot of praise, and they deserve it. I'm not sure really where it broke down, but Nico and I when I say Nico, I think it is really his father, as you alluded. Totally blew this. This was not the time to do it. The winter portal is far more appealing, and the fact that Tennessee starting quarterback cannot go to another SEC school immediately devalues him, because that's really where the action would have been. There are a number of schools in the SEC that would have been bidders, and right now they can't be because of the SEC rule.
You know how this works, though. If you know he went 10-3 last year as a starter, but if you go and look at the numbers, a lot of his big games were against non-conference opponents. We saw what happened in the playoff. Had he been a better player, could this been a different conversation?
Completely. Listen, if you take the Vanderbilt game out of the equation against top flight opponents, he did nothing. The Florida game, he was serviceable. He was a complete no-show in the first half of the Alabama game. I don't know who he was throwing to, but it wasn't to a Tennessee receiver. He finally caught fire a little bit in the second half. And made some plays, but not when it really. I mean, that game should have been over earlier. And quite frankly, he was not good. I mean, I've talked to a number of people since the story broke on Friday. SEC people, players, coaches, folks that understand it better than I could ever evaluate, and they put him right in the middle of SEC quarterbacks. I mean, there's 16 starting quarterbacks in the SEC. He was no better than 6th, 7th, or 8th. We're not talking NFL draft GM evaluations here, because this is a totally different situation. But he's not that great, and I know that a lot of Tennessee fans tried to prop him up because he was good. Tennessee did get to the playoffs, and I think he had a role in that. But Dylan Sampson had a bigger role. A great defense had an even more significant role. And in Josh Heupel's offense, the quarterback is important, but it's not the most complicated offense for a quarterback. I think Tennessee can survive without him, and I think that's ultimately what they realized they had to do.
Talking to Paul Feinbaum on the Chasing Big Joe show. Paul, it's so great to hear from you. When did you first get wind this was going on? Because now there was rumors back in December that he was not happy with his deal, might have held out the playoff game. But this latest thing, when did you finally hear, like, oh, what's going on here now?
Well, everyone heard something in the wintertime, but how much attention do you pay? Because, in my mind, every one of these players has their hand out, and why not? If you can get money, get it, just like in your business and my business and everybody else's. As far as recently, Thursday the rumors started flying around, and I don't know. I just assumed, wrongfully, I might add, that Tennessee would give him what he wanted. That's how we're conditioned right now. And exactly how the decision went down in Knoxville, I'm not clear. I have an idea, and I think Josh Heupel was at the center of it. And I think he probably said, "Listen, we can live without him." I think it's as simple as that.
Paul, are you surprised how big this story has become? Because it's dominated every day since he did not make the spring game on Saturday.
No, because listen, let me state a few things we already know, but this is the first holdout we've ever had in college football. It may not be a big deal if you're a Titans fan or a Falcons fan or somebody else. These things happen all the time, but it has never happened here before. So yeah, we reacted to it, and I mean, he is a named player. I mean, even though he wasn't first team All-American last year, he was still a fairly well-known quarterback, especially since he really started all this a couple of years ago. He was the first big name quarterback, big name high school player who signed for a big deal. And I think the things that really stand out to me are the fact that Tennessee went to bat for him. Had Tennessee not gone to bat for him, he would have been declared ineligible, and he would have just barely gotten back into the game now. And I just think Tennessee's done a lot of really smart things. When they fought back to the NCAA 2 years ago, that really put the NCAA down for the final time. And in this case, I think Tennessee has stood out as well. The school has not always fared well in the past. It's had some blunders. We all know what they are. But this is one of Tennessee's finest moments.
Yeah, I was going to say that, as combative as fan bases can be, I never thought I'd see the day where Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, and Florida are all singing Tennessee's praises. And at the bottom of this, or the top of this, is Josh Heupel doing this. So how does Heupel look to you, Paul, amidst all this is going on?
He looks great. And as great as he looks, he's made it more complicated for himself. And I think football fans are not the most forgiving, but I think if Tennessee loses a game or two that it probably shouldn't this fall, fans are going to understand. Now that only has a shelf life of probably this season. But I don't think this was expected to be a great year anyway. I think Tennessee would have been on the cut line of the playoffs. They had Georgia early. That Florida game late is problematic. They'll survive the opener against Syracuse. But I mean, this looks like about a 9-win season, and maybe if you go on the road and beat Florida or Alabama, or somehow maybe do something that Tennessee hasn't done in a long time, that's beat Georgia, you can get to that magic 10 mark. But I don't think anybody had Tennessee in its top 5 or 10, right outside of that maybe. And I think the next couple of days are critical. I think it would be beneficial for Tennessee to get another quarterback in there just to give them some breathing room. If they can do that, then I think we can start talking about an additional win here and a possible playoff run. But right now, I think Tennessee made its bed. They're fine with it. I'm fine with it. And I think most people are.
Paul Feinbaum is with us here on the Chasing Big Joe show. So just kind of looking, you mentioned Alabama, obviously a team you know quite well. What are they at this point? And I mean, is the hot seat already starting just because of the success that they had under Nick Saban?
I think it should. I frankly thought Kalen DeBoer made a mess out of last season. He inherited a very good team with a proven quarterback. You can debate whether Milroe is a first-round draft choice or not. I'll leave that to the morning shows. I don't think he is, by the way. But he was certainly a veteran. Alabama doesn't have that right now. They have Ty Simpson, who is good but unproven, and then they have a phenomenal freshman that we hear about every year, and sometimes they work out great and sometimes they do not. But I thought Kalen DeBoer, the Vanderbilt loss will never be forgiven. I don't care what Vanderbilt did. That is one of the darkest moments in the history of the program. And then they threw it, they fought back, and then they threw it all away with the Oklahoma loss, and then the Michigan loss, which is unforgivable when you consider that Michigan had about half of its starters out for that bowl game. He made a good move, though. He brought Ryan Grubb in, his former coordinator with Michael Penix. That should help. But if he doesn't go to the playoffs this year, I think his job should be on the line.
Talking to Paul Feinbaum. All right, you mentioned Milroe. Is Cam Ward a first-round pick? Because the Titans are going to select him here in about a week.
I think he is. I mean, he had a fascinating career, and I thought what he did last is the most important thing. And I thought he was very good last year. He did not have a defense that supported him. Had he had that, Miami was definitely a playoff team, and it was because of Cam Ward.
Paul, appreciate the time today. It's good to talk to you, and we will definitely do this again soon.
I can't wait. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Awesome. Absolutely. Paul Feinbaum joining us here on the program, the Paul Feinbaum Show, of course, on the SEC Network every weekday, and always enjoy our conversations with him. So Tennessee getting the praise of the college football world right now, and look, they probably should. So if they're not as good this year, Vols fans, I think they deserve a little bit of a pass.
I think Vols fans did not want to be held hostage by this young man who is obviously not the number one quarterback in the land. But again, this is the world they have created. And so you can't be mad at everybody and this and that because that's what they want. But good for Heupel, man. Good, stand their ground. I love the fact they stood their ground.
Coming up next, we will tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays. This week's Nashville's best deal is Chiba Hut Toasted Subs. Get half off a $50 gift card now at theGameNashville.com/deals and celebrate 420 the Chiba way on Donaldson Pike. Hey, it is time for the 4th annual 615 Open Charity Golf Tournament, benefiting Folds of Honor, and it's presented by Gary Force Acura. It will, along with our partners at Fox 17, Outfront Media, and Social Indoor, will be back at the Hermitage Golf Course on Thursday, May 29th. Check it out. You can sign up to play or sponsor at 615open.com. So really excited to have that going again. DVD coming up in about 10 minutes. Adam Vingan already here checking it out. Adam, if you could wait downstairs until we're done. Just kidding. Just kidding.
So the bouncer gets here, lets you in.
Appreciate Paul Feinbaum for joining us on the show. Really good insight there on this whole thing. And I think, it was a game-changing moment for college football for Tennessee to kind of put their foot down and stand up to Nico and his father, the Ian Maliavas, and ultimately let him move on. So we'll see where he ends up. We'll see if another quarterback ends up on Rocky Top. But right now it's time to learn what day it is and celebrity birthdays. It is presented by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards, electrical services, installations, inspections, upgrades, and replacements. Visit them at jarrettcompaniesinc.com.
All right, gentlemen. First on this, we have Day of Mushroom. So however you like to eat your mushrooms.
That could be interesting.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. Next one we have is Foursquare Day, something involving math, a lot of numbers. Holy Wednesday, National Banana Day, good potassium builder
Banana.
there. Yep, good old banana. You ever had banana pancakes?
I have, yeah.
They're pretty good.
It's a good song, too.
Oh, I didn't know that was a song.
It sure is.
Okay, continuing, National Bean Counters Day. People that count beans, okay, weird.
Okay.
National Book Mobile Day. So if you like to go on the go with the book, there you go.
There you go. That's good.
National Eggs Benedict Day. Delicious.
Do love some Eggs Benedict.
Let's see. National Healthcare Decisions Day. Take care of
Nice.
yourself. National Librarian Day. Shout out to those bookworms. National Orchard Day. So, okay.
Orchards.
Sorry.
Those are good.
I'll be quiet, Joe.
To the
National
librarian.
Yeah, sorry. National Stress Awareness Day. Check on
I
your
need-
friends there.
Yeah,
I need
check
that
on
every
the
day.
boss here. He's having a heart attack.
Yeah, my
National-
blood pressure's come down a little bit.
There we go. National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day. I don't know if
That's
I'll be-
David Chains every day.
It's David James every day.
I can't catch a break.
Oh, David.
Save the Elephant Day is today, so save some elephants.
Hey, Dr. Crane, real quick.
Sure.
Do you know that elephants look at us the same way we look at dogs?
Really?
They're really excited to see us, like we're excited to see a dog. Elephants are excited to see us.
Is
Love
that why
that.
their little trunk gets real like straight all the time, up and down?
Hey! This is a family show, buddy.
No, the snout, like
Keep
whatever.
that after hours.
Just saying, they like wave it up and down and stuff.
Oh, what kind? Watch your
Wow,
mouth.
wow.
It's a snout. The little
Come
trunk.
on, man.
Next one we have is School Librarians Day. So shout out to all the librarians.
You just said that.
Well, there's two of them: National Librarian Day and School Librarian Day. All right.
How many damn days are there?
Right.
Teach your daughter, and the last one to go here is Teach Your Daughter to Volunteer Day. So there you go.
Okay, well, that's good.
All right, thank you. All right, time for celebrity birthdays. You got to get these within two. Our first birthday, Ellen Barkin. Ellen Barkin. How old is she?
I don't even know who that is.
She's an actress. Today's her birthday.
48.
65.
71.
Nice.
Comedian Martin Lawrence.
63.
61.
60. Dr. Crane on the board, up 1-0. Well done, Dr. Crane. Actor John Cryer from Two and a Half Men.
57.
60.
60 exactly.
Damn.
3-0, Dr. Crane. He was really funny and pretty in pink. Yeah, he was.
Faux show.
Ew. Oh, shoot that thing. Hold on. Let me see who else here. I don't know any of these. I got to get more in. All right. Singer Bobby Vinton. Here's a clue for you guys. Your grandmother loved Bobby Vinton.
88.
98.
He's 90. Chaser on board, 2-1. Little clue there. The lead singer, David Perner of Soul Asylum.
34.
40.
61.
Nice.
Actor Peter Billingsley, the little kid from A Christmas Story.
Oh wow. 54.
Which kid?
The main character from A Christmas Story.
Oh, Ralphie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 60.
He is exactly 54. Chase is tied it at 3. All right, sports birthdays. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Saying it
74.
Saying it 9 times. doesn't make it right.
76.
He's 78. Dr. Crane's up 4-3. Bill Belichick. Today's his birthday.
73.
74.
73 dead on. Chase is up 5-4. Bruce Bochy. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
The manager? Bocce Ball, Bruce Bochy.
70.
71.
Yeah.
70. Look at the boss man. Up 7-4. He's on a tear. The number 1 pick of the 1992 draft, Steve Entman from Washington. How old is Steve Entman today?
I'm gonna say 55.
64.
55 exactly. The boss is on a tear. He's gotten 3 straight dead on. He's up now 9-4. He's going to win this. And last birthday, a guy that busted Derek Mason's head quite a few times. I don't know if he did or not, but Jonathan Vilma.
Jonathan Vilma, probably 47.
53.
43.
Oh,
That's all right,
there
though.
you go.
Chase wins 9-4. That's a tear.
Well done.
Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you very much. Brought to you by Jarrett Companies Inc. JarrettCompaniesInc.com. That is going to do it for us today. Come out, hang out. They're about to open here at BetMGM Lounge. They got Braves hats, Brave stuff everywhere. So come out and see us and watch the Bravos take on the Blue Jays. Spencer Strider on the mound today.
Hey, as we leave the show, every show with you, to our guys out there, if you are struggling, there are places you can know, people you can talk to. We tell you all the time on your phone. You can call or text 988. Somebody's always there to talk to you. We are always here to talk to you. I need you guys to live in the present right now. Don't look forward to things down the road, because all we have is the present. And our present is made better because you are here. And know that we love you. And more importantly, more than anything else in this world, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. D-Mace, Vingan, Donick, next. 1025.